In the early 1900s, a boat with two men traveled into the Amazon River basin on an extremely dangerous mission. The men were there to kill the massive apex predator that stalked the river mouth. Armed with explosives, the men detonated them in the river. Instead of killing the prey, though, the massive snake, bloodied and barely wounded, rose from the water, staring at the men. The gigantic snake then swam off in the opposite direction, allowing the men to live. The men had just encountered the most feared predator in the Amazon rainforest, a beast known to the locals as Yacumama. Yacumama, which translates into the Mother of Waters, is a massive snake said to inhabit the Amazon River basin. The size of the creature is one that is frightening just to think about. Locals say the creature grows up to 160 feet in length, with a head 6 feet across. Legend has it that the beast can eat anyone who comes within 100 feet. Since the creature is so dangerous, locals will blow a conch horn when coming near the water so that the creature, if around, will show itself. It is said that the Yacumama has attacked numerous boats and fishermen on the water. The sheer size of the Yacumama is enough to be terrifying, but could a snake this size still be lurking around today? The most common and popular theory is that Yacumamas are extinct Titanoboas. The Titanoboa was a massive snake that roamed the Amazon. It is said that they were about 45 feet on average, which is about 30 feet longer than the green anaconda, the largest snake that exists today. Still, some scientists believe that Titanoboa was much larger than this, and that this is supported as well by tales of indigenous tribes who live in the Amazon and several Westerners. Throughout history, local tribes of the Amazon have told stories of snakes over 100 feet. The waters of the Amazon are murky, with many unexplored waterways, and various cultures have given different names to the massive beast. While many stories come from locals, the first popular sighting from a Westerner around a large, gigantic snake came from a legendary explorer. Perry Fawcett, a renowned British geographer and explorer of South America, was the first individual to officially document an encounter with a gigantic snake creature. In 1907, Fawcett traveled to Bolivia on an expedition. There, Fawcett documented a large snake around 60 feet in length and 1 foot wide that was swimming around his boat. It's important to remember that Fawcett was a serious explorer, respected throughout Great Britain, and that he had been honored by the Royal Geographical Society. Unfortunately, on a latter expedition, Fawcett and his son disappeared into the forest, searching for the lost city of Z, and were never heard from again. Although Fawcett was the first official documented sighting of the large snake, he would not be the last. Juan Carlos Palomino, a Peruvian man and ex-commando, claims he killed a snake about 40 feet long during a military exercise. Palomino was a skilled hunter and survivalist, having once survived alone in the jungle for 11 days by himself with only a knife. Palomino also stated if he had the time and financial backing, he could find a snake just as big. Some speculate, though, that Palomino and his unit killed Titanoboa's cousin, the green anaconda. One claim that happened in the 21st century involves a man from Ireland. In 2009, Mike Warner, an Irish lithographer, alleged he had found evidence of the creature using satellite photos. Up until the early 2000s, scientists did not believe that snakes ever grew to be the size of Titanoboa. That would soon change, though, with a remarkable discovery. In 2002, a Colombian student discovered a fossilized leaf on a visit in the massive coal mine at Cerrejón in Colombia. The find intrigued scientists as they learned the area had once been home to a sprawling jungle. After excavating, archaeologists were astounded to find giant turtles and giant crocodiles, and some of the first bananas, avocados, and bean plants that ever sprouted on planet Earth. With this, they found a massive vertebrae, a vertebrae too big to belong to any jungle snake on record. It was truly an incredible find, and diggers immediately began combing the mines for more fragments of the jungle titan. Luckily, over the next few years, a team would find remains of 28 enormous serpents and 3 skull fragments. Besides Titanoboa, if this beast exists, there are generally 2 accepted theories as to what it could be. The first is a new snake species, one related to the green anaconda, but far longer and wider. In such hostile territory as the Amazon rainforest, it's reasonable to assume that one could easily hide in the murky, dark waters. A second theory is that this snake is simply an extremely large anaconda that is well outside the normal size range. We know that snakes and other reptiles continue growing until death, so it's reasonable to assume some have to end up on the extremely large end of the spectrum. A massive snake can stay motionless for months resting and only surface when it needs to feed. This could explain as well why so few sightings have occurred. In addition, a massive snake that size would have no natural predators. In the jungle, even large anacondas have a natural predator, the jaguar. The Amazon is the largest rainforest in the world, with more than 2.5 million square miles of dense, lush green forests. The biodiversity of this area is the highest on Earth, and it's said that there are millions of undiscovered species living there. Much of the environment has yet to be fully explored due to the flash flooding, sheer size, and dangerous conditions. It's said that the extinct Titanoboa thrived during its time due to the high temperatures on Earth. This led many creatures to be larger than normal and provided ample food for Titanoboa. Many believe that one of the multiple ice ages killed off the species. Others point out that over time less food and land was available, and this has led to smaller animals surviving. This all raises the question, if a massive snake is out there, when will we find it? It's important to remember that outsiders tend to be the ones that dismiss the idea of massive snakes. Scientists tend to require proof to believe in such creatures. Still, we must stress, many indigenous tribes believe in these creatures, and they reside in the area. There's even been sightings of 30-foot snakes in Japan, a country with snakes that grow no more than 10 feet. It is our opinion that a massive 40 to 50-foot snake will be found and documented in the near future. This is simply because snakes grow until death, and that one well outside the normal spectrum should be found in time. Any expedition will have more advanced technology than the past and be able to provide clearer images. Still, there is considerable difficulty with getting an expedition funded for such a purpose. Not to mention, not many are willing to venture into the jungle for weeks on end. It's an extremely difficult place to survive, with poisonous insects, a variety of predators, diseases, and threats of flash flooding. Despite this, expeditions in the Amazon are ongoing, and we are learning more about the area every day. In such a massive, dense, unexplored area, it's certainly within the realm of possibility that a massive snake could exist.